You have probably seen so many videos here on YouTube about people talking about just how much they're making off of putting out videos. So as stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home wives, is YouTube a goldmine opportunity for us? Hey there friends, I'm Heidi, the Heavenly Minded Homemaker, and I have been here in YouTube producing content for this space for almost 7 years now. And I think especially with what we see today, so many of us, especially homemakers, stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home wives, maybe you're working outside of the home, but dreaming of the day that you can be working from home, having your time back, doing what you want to do. Is YouTube a gold mine for us wanting to earn money from home doing what we love? Now, I've been here, like I said, for almost 7 years, and I want to be very real, very upfront with you all about answering this question and looking at the reality behind what it means to be a content creator, to be a YouTuber, and to put this stuff out for everyone. Now, of course, there is some truth to the reality here. Now, our family specifically, this is our income, right? Our work we do here, what we pour into our ministry that is largely hosted through this YouTube channel does provide an income for us. Now, it's not a ton, it's not a lot. We're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a second, but there is a real opportunity. There are many people out there making their living off of content creation. Video, of course, happens to be the best performer. We see most of the income made from people who do produce video over something like, even like shorter format stuff, but over images and blogs and things like that. Video does produce more. Goldman & Sachs has even said that they believe that content creation will be a $500 billion industry by 2027. So it's growing and only projected to grow even more. Is there real opportunity in content creation and having a YouTube channel, doing stuff like this? Yeah, there really is. And I know it can seem so weird and so backwards. I mean, so many people, I even thought it was a crazy thing, right? Of like, wow, people really make money doing this, but you can. There is real opportunity out there. And I know some people get worried and they go, well, there's already other people doing it. The market must be so oversaturated. I could never make it. And that simply isn't the case. But I think that there's a lot more to this that I really want to just have a real honest heart to heart with you all about, because I think for many of us, we see people who are successfully, their husbands have been able to quit their jobs. Everybody works from home now and they do this amazing YouTube thing and everything just comes together and it's so great. And I think there really is another side to being a content creator, especially as a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home wife. And I think that while there's so many great conversations we can have about how to do it and how to make it work, I think there's the flip side of the coin that we need to be really honest and upfront in talking about. So is there real opportunity in being a YouTuber as a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife? Yeah, there really is. Again, Goldman & Sachs is saying that $500 billion industry within the next few years. That's huge. That's crazy. I mean, that is a massive industry. There's a huge market. People are only consuming more and more content as the days go on. But what would the flip side of that be for those of us who are stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home wives, homemakers, right? Like, what is our opportunity in this? I think one of the mistakes people make is they decide that they'll just make something like they've seen someone else make, right? Like, I really like watching this channel or this content, I'll just make content like that. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be successful. So things like, day in the life vlogs, homeschool vlogs, homemaking vlogs, things like that are probably not going to be that successful. And the other harsh reality in this is that it usually takes a very long time to find any footing of success. We had been here creating content nearly daily for almost 6 years before we really started to gain traction. And so it kind of is one of those things where you go, okay, first and foremost, you need to look at what you would be creating, because if it's just kind of whatever, nothing specific, just kind of what you're doing in the daily, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be successful. Now, I'll tell you why. We'll dive into that a little bit deeper, but you're gonna wanna have a little more thought into what type of content you're making. Don't just put stuff out there because, oh, well, I see other women who just, put stuff out there about their homes and I'm just gonna do the same with my own. Hold on a second. The other point there is being patient. Again, I worked at this like it was my full-time job for nearly 6 years before we really started to see any sort of like real traction, before we got to the point that it was like, wow, okay, like there's money coming in from this. Could you work for the next 6 years? Not saying it would take that long. If I would have known a lot more back then, maybe it wouldn't have taken so long. But point still being, could you do this for 6 years with no monetary gain and it be worth it to you? Now, for me, with the type of content that we do, I know we are always going to have a small audience here in YouTube land. Most people are not looking for biblically based, simple living, raw, real, right? That's not what most people are looking for. That's okay, I understand that. I am still so passionate about it. It is such a ministry for me and for our family that we continue to pursue this. Now, we know we're not gonna be the next YouTube millionaires. We know we're not gonna have millions of views. Like, I get it, I understand that. But we trust the Lord in what we're doing. We have a higher purpose for what we do, and we understand that it might not look like that YouTube goldmine that so many other channels are finding with such seemingly, content that just seems like it's so much less work than what we do, but it is just more what the masses want, and so they find more success, which again, do with it what you will. We just feel called to create very specific content. So we know that we're not necessarily going to ever hit those numbers, and we understand that. We're completely content in where we are. But I think it's really important that when we look at this, we have to look at the reality. Having a YouTube channel is a lot of work. Putting content out for all of us, we all take in content, right? We watch free videos, we scroll through reels, we do whatever it is, we bring in a lot of stuff. It is a lot of work to create these things, to create everything, to edit everything, to upload everything, to keep up with all of it, to run the community, to deal with the onslaught of emails and things like that come. It is a lot of work. And so if you're really looking at wanting to do something, I think, yes, first letting you know you're gonna have to be a little specific with what type of things you're doing. You're gonna have to have a lot of patience because it doesn't just happen overnight. And you really need to understand the workload that's going to come in. And so in this season of life, if you're looking at this and you go, could I fit this in? Could I really dedicate a few hours every single week and be able to be patient for multiple years even before seeing a return on this? Those are types of things that you're really gonna have to prayerfully work through before saying, yep, let's just do it all. Let's start one right now, okay? And so I think it is really quite interesting. I was looking at some statistics the other day, and our channel here is in the top 7% of all YouTube channels based in the United States. I thought that was wild. I thought that was absolutely crazy. But then you really start thinking about it. So many people start channels, but they don't understand that they have to really find a niche and be specific in what they're doing. They don't understand how much work it takes. They don't understand how much patience they're gonna need to really wait out the wave and really get to a place where they are starting to grow. And so I guess on one hand, it does make it kind of neat that most people don't realize all of those things. And so then a channel like mine is able to be in the top 7%, which is kind of crazy and exciting. But I think it is so important that if you're gonna go into this, you go into it with all of the facts and knowing just these core basics of you're probably not going to be an internet sensation overnight. You're going to have to really think about the content that you're putting out, because just day in the life and normal living, while some of us might really enjoy it, those aren't things that are going to see massive success very quickly. You're going to have to know that it takes a lot of work that you're going to have to put into this to make it happen. And it is a game of patience. YouTube is a long-term strategy game and not a get-rich-quick game whatsoever. So as a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife, a homemaker looking for ways to bring in extra money and wanting to pursue something with content creation, some of my top tips for you to really start building something up that you can monetize, that can be impactful for your family, would really be first and foremost to think about things that you know how to do. You have knowledge, you have passion, you have experience. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be the expert of all experts and you know every single in and out, but what is something that you know about, that you're passionate about? The truth is, in a place like the internet, where there's so many people, you know, vlogging, showing their day-to-days, their lives, the truth is really until people start to know you, they're not going to care about, you know, your vlog or your whatever. You need to give them a reason to be there and be invested. And so looking at things of, hey, you know, you're really good at this. You're really skilled when it comes to making budget-friendly meals. You're really skilled when it comes to, you know, building this or crafting that, or maybe you're really great at, you know, dealing with finances. I don't know, whatever it might be, right? We all have something that we know about, that we're passionate about. Really think about those things that you go, okay, I know this, I could talk about this, and I could talk about this for the next 10 years, right? What is something that you could do for the next 10 years that you know you're really passionate about? Maybe it's having a natural home. Maybe it's homesteading. Maybe it's something not even related to the home, but it's just a skill set or an educational value that you have. Maybe you were a really good student in a certain area. Maybe you know everything there is to know about the history of Canada. I don't know, right? Like, what are the things that you're passionate about? I honestly would start listing them out and going, what is it that I'm really passionate about? I know a lot about, I could talk about all the time. I could show, I could share, I could really dig into. And once you kind of have an idea there, then you can really start to hone in and learn about what it takes to package videos correctly, put them all together so that way you can start putting stuff out there. Having some forethought in that. I know for me, I spent years kind of just throwing spaghetti at the wall and being like, oh, I want to talk about this and I want to talk about that and I want to talk about this. And it was when I really started to hone in to just my passion for biblical womanhood and just aspects of Christian homemaking that the channel really did flourish and grow. And that's what we continue to talk about. So everything that I talk about really comes back to that basis. And so the more that you start to hone in and really think about these different areas, you can go, okay, here's something I could talk about. Here's something I could put together. Start listing out different, you know, video ideas and topics that you can do within that area. And then that really allows you to start putting forward the pieces and moving on to build this up. Now, I have a playlist of some videos I've already done about this. I will link it down below. If you guys are interested and you would like to see more on this topic, leave me a comment. I'm more than happy to share, but I don't want to drive you all crazy with all of this if it's not what anybody is really interested in learning about here on this channel. But I think it was wise to just pause and answer that question of, is YouTube a gold mine? Can I just start a channel and start making money and doing all of this? And I think it's just so important that we know that, can it be done? Yes, it absolutely can. Especially if you can find a great niche, a great topic. You really can capitalize on the packaging, the way you put it together, and how you bring all of your elements between the actual content, the thumbnails, the titles, you know, the hooks, all of that together. You really can make a quite impressive income for yourself, for your family, off of content creation. And again, in an industry that's only looking to grow to $500 billion in the next few years. I mean, that's crazy. That's so amazing. But is it just turn on the camera, video around your house, and you're going to start seeing people coming in by the droves? Probably not. But we all have something we can share. We all have knowledge that we can sell, whether it's putting videos out like this, it's coupling that then with some ebooks, some courses, some materials, some resources. There's many great ways to do this, and I absolutely do believe in it. And I think that more importantly, if the Lord has been putting something upon your heart of, man, you should share that. You should talk about that. You should put that out there. Then the most important part is that we respond to his prompting, his calling in obedience, and allow the Lord to use it in whatever way he sees fit. I know for me, sometimes I get really frustrated because YouTube is difficult. It is a full-time job. It takes a lot. I have a team of people here behind me to get all of this out to you all. And I have days where I go, do I want to do this? Do I want another nasty comment? Do I want another person, complaining because I move my hands or this or that, right? It's the dumbest, pettiest things that happen. And some days it gets overwhelming and you go, I don't know if I want to do this. But then I'll get that one comment that says, the Lord spoke through you today. I've been praying about this. I've been stuck on this. I didn't know what to do. And then I just, out of coincidence, right? Coincidence when God remains silent, your video popped up before me and it was such a blessing. It helped so much, or whatever it might be. Those are the most humbling moments I have where I just fall to my knees and thank the Lord that he encouraged me to share and that he used it to bless someone, because it's not about me, it's all about him. And so if that can be a blessing for you and sharing about this stuff can be a help, then praise God, we're going to share about it, because that's what we want to do. We want to serve the Lord in faithfulness, and we've truly felt that he's called us to share here in these ways to lift up other homemakers, other families, and other households. And so if more on this topic can be a help, leave me a comment, let me know. I'm happy to share it, happy to have it there. Can this be a gold mine? Sure, it can. Can it realistically be a way that can really impact your house, be it in just your ministry, your focus, your service of the Lord, but also in a financial, monetary way? Yes, it can. It's probably not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of work, and you're going to have to be really thoughtful about what you're putting together and how you're putting it together. Now, I don't say that to dissuade you or to try to talk you out of it. I just want to be open and honest and say the things that I wish more people would be open and honest about. It is possible. You can do it. It takes some thought, and it takes a whole lot of patience and even more prayer. And if we can help support you in that, we're happy to do so. But I think it's really important, again, to take it to prayer, to think through these things we've touched on here, and to really go back to the drawing board and say, all right, what could we do? What are things that I could start showing? And you guys can check out that playlist down below to see some of that practical step-by-step how to put it together. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, friends.